in technology. And I believe we will be using the digital platforms that we are creating to make sure that as members, you are able to access your statements and any queries that there could be, that it is responded to, and that you feel comfortable and safe that we have your funds and they are well taken care of. As CIC, we believe that we can take care of you, and even after this pension scheme, maybe to mention that we have another product that we normally call annuities. After the period of pension contributions, you can also convert that fund to the annuities, of which, again, the company is offering that product. I believe as we continue with our education day, some of these things will be highlighted. Maybe to mention that we also have other products, because I believe for us to have a better life thereafter, we need to save as much as possible. We have other products we offer under our individual life business that we have education and also the life. And I believe because of the engagement and interactions that we have, that we believe we can still save more and engage us in all forums that we will be. As much as you see CIC Insurance Group, I believe that you can always engage whoever is there in terms of your need and queries. And without much ado, I would wish to declare this Education Day meeting open. And thank you very much. And we believe that at the end of the day, our expectations will be met as members. So we are here for you, and we believe we are doing our best. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Thank you. Jane, our moderator.
Thank you, Tyrus, for that brief presentation and declaring the session officially opened. So I think without further ado, we are going to get into the presenters of this morning. And our first presenter is Shem Mai. Shem is part of the retirement benefits team or pension team at CIC. So he'll be presenting to us on or assisting us to understand our benefit statement, so that when we get the statement, we are able to read through. As we are waiting for Shem to put through his presentation, I would request the members to indicate yes if you have received your statement as at 31st December 2020, and no if you did not receive the statement. This is very important so that we can also be able to know how effective we are in our communication and how we are keeping you updated. So I believe that will take us a second or so. It's either a yes, I received, no, I did not receive. So thank you. So I can see, yes, a number of them are really flowing through. Yeah, make sure you respond so that we can also be able to measure ourselves how we are doing. We could be thinking that we are communicating with you from wherever we are, and maybe you do not even get to know how your fund is growing. Okay, I am excited. There are quite a number of yeses coming through. So continue typing. I believe you can multitask even as you are listening through the presentation by Shem. I can see Shem is ready. So over to you, Shem.
Thank you very much, Jen. Good morning, members. We are very excited that you have been able to join us this morning. We are undertaking this because we realize that most or some of our members have questions whenever we send out the member statements every year. So my task here is very simple and straight to the point. I will be taking you through how to interpret your benefits statement. I'll start by saying that the benefit statement has three major components. We have the employee contribution, we have the employer's contribution, and we have the additional voluntary contributions. So the employee contribution can also be called personal contributions for those who are not attached to any employer. So contributions are also categorized in two broad categories, which are the tax exempt, or otherwise known as the registered contributions. We also have the non-tax exempt, which is also known as the unregistered contribution. So the tax exempt contribution is a pension contribution that is not included in the member's taxable income. This is contribution that is deducted from the gross pay before the remainder is subjected to taxation. Normally, this is capped at 20,000 of the contributions. So what is important to note is that these contributions that are tax exempt are normally taxed at withdrawal when the member wants to access the funds. What I mean by tax exempt, like in an example, would be if a member is earning a gross salary of 100,000 and say their pension contribution is 10,000. What that means is that your gross salary of 100,000 will not be taxed as a whole. The 10,000 that you contribute towards your pension will be deducted from the 100,000, so that it is 90,000 shillings that will be taxed. Effectively, that one helps you to reduce your tax band and probably pay less taxation, which is an incentive from the government. Now, we also have the non-tax exempt, also known as the unregistered contributions. These are pension contributions that are included in the member's taxable income. So the contributions are submitted after the member's full income has been taxed. It is important to note that these contributions are not taxed at withdrawal. What that means is that if you earn a gross salary of 100,000 and the whole 100,000 is taxed, and then probably after you've received your net income, you decide to make a pension contribution, that one will be treated as non-tax exempt because this is not income that has been exempted from taxation at payroll. So you will realize that now this kind of a contribution at withdrawal is not subject to any taxation. However, in your statements, you will also notice that there is corporation tax. Corporation tax is normally charged at 30% of the interest earned on non-tax exempt contributions. So much as non-tax exempt contributions are not taxed at withdrawal, you will realize that interest earned on these non-tax exempt contributions are taxed at 30%. So just a clarification on that one is the principal amount is not taxed. It is the interest earned from the principal that is taxed at 30%. So it is also note that the corporation tax does not apply to members whose contribution is tax exempt. So I'm just giving you these terminologies, and then we will get into a real statement so that I can show you how and where they actually do appear. So finally, I want to explain to you how the interest works. So our fund is a guaranteed fund, and our guarantee is normally 5%. However, we declare our interest at the end of every year after audit is done, and the declared interest normally varies from time to time. So you will realize that in your statements, the interest is prorated depending on the day the funds will hit our CIC accounts. So funds that will hit our accounts on the 1st of January of that year will earn full interest of that will be declared, say 10%. But funds that probably will come in June will be prorated in that we will see that these funds have been with us probably for 230 days. So that will be 230 over 265 times now the amount that has come in, and then multiplied by the interest. So I hope that is well understood. So if you run statements for the current year, whatever interest that will show is the guaranteed interest, which we call an interim interest of 5%. But if you run statements for the previous years, whatever interest that is displayed there is interest that was declared for that particular year. So I hope that is clear on that one. So just allow me at this point probably to share a real statement so that I can show you where these things appear in the statement. I hope the statement is now visible. Jen, can you confirm it is?
It is feasible, but you can make it bigger, please, enlarge. Is that all? If you can try once more.
Is that okay now?
Okay, it's getting better.
So as we work on the projection, just allow me to take you through the statement broadly when you can see it as a whole, and then I can narrow down now to the specific areas. I hope you can see my cursor movement. We have this section, the first section above here, that is the biodata section, which is normally very, very important. We advise all clients that once you receive your statement, please go through this area, make sure that your name appears correctly, your member number, your ID number, your phone number, your email address. If you are attached to an employer, your employer details, your current age, your date of birth, and your date of joining scheme, just to make sure that all details that are captured here are correct. If not, please be sure to get back to us as soon as possible so that we are able to advise and give you a form to update your details. So that you will see, as I had mentioned earlier, that we have the statement categorized in two broad areas. We have the tax-exempt contributions. You can see here, we have the tax-exempt. Yes, Jen.
Please make it bigger. I can see there are some members asking whether there's something being displayed. Okay.
Is that better?
Okay. Yes. If you could, at least that is be a bit clearer. If you can hold it at that point.
Okay. Okay. So you can see in the statement there's the tax exempt, and then on the other end we have non-tax exempt contributions. So I hope we are able to see that in the statement. So the tax exempt on the left and the non-tax exempt on the right. So you will notice that under the tax exempt, we have the employee contributions, and then we also have the employer contributions under the non-tax exempt. These fields are also replicated on the other side of the non-tax exempt. You will realize that we have the employee non-tax exempt and the employer non-tax exempt. So as I had mentioned before, when contributions are made to us, we receive a schedule on how the allocation is to be done. So amounts that are less than 20,000 will appear in the tax exempt side. amounts that will be above 20,000, the extra amount, say you are doing an employee contribution of 10,000 and an employer's contribution of 15,000. So when you come to the statement, you will see 10,000 under the employee tax exempt. You will see 10,000 under the employer tax exempt. That makes it a total of 20,000. Now you will come to the non-tax exempt side. Then on the employer side, the extra 5,000 will be displayed here. So I hope that makes it clear. Now, how are M-Pesa contributions treated? M-Pesa contributions are, that is money that has already come to your pocket, meaning that it was not exempt from taxation at payroll. So those who do M-Pesa or standing order contributions, you will realize that all your contributions will appear under non-tax exempt employee contributions. I hope that is clear. It is important to note that we are also allowed to make additional voluntary contributions, and those who do, the amount will appear in this column. I will take you down here, and you will see that after your contributions have been displayed here, you will see that the interest earned for the period will appear in this column for all the categories of contribution. Then those who do non-tax exempt contributions, the corporation tax will appear in your statement under the non-tax exempt contributions, because this corporation tax only applies to that. So, and then at the bottom you will see the closing balance. So you will notice that for the employee tax exempt, there's a total that will be displayed in this column. For the employer non-tax exempt, there's a total. The employer tax exempt, there's a total here. For the employee non-tax exempt, there's a total. For the employer non-tax exempt, there's a total. Then on the far right, there is a grand total for all these columns. And then if you want to know your closing balance, just go to the bottom right. This is where now your total accumulated fund will appear. I hope you can see where my cursor is pointing. That is where the totals will appear. Now, it is also important to note that entries are posted in this section of the statement as and at when the funds were received. So if we received funds in April, they will appear here in April. If we receive funds in July, they will appear here in July. However, for those who are contributing through an employer, you'll realize that we may receive your contributions in April, yet these contributions were meant to be for February, for contributions for February. So we have a second page. We have a second page in your statement. So you just scroll down and you have a second page that is called year contribution allocations. So in the year contribution allocations, you will see the transaction date and now the allocation month. So the transaction date will concur with what you have in your statement above. However, the allocation month will now tell the specific month this contribution was meant for. So I think that makes it clear, especially for those who normally see their contributions lumped up in this section. So there's a second page that will clearly tell you how the contributions have been allocated. Let me finally, just to illustrate this point, share a final statement that is a real one, that we have created as a real statement so that you are able to see how the allocations are done. Jen, is this visible? Jane, please confirm if you can see.
Yes, Shem, we can see.
It's visible.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Sorry, I was on mute. We can see.
Yes, so members, I hope you can now see like a statement that now has real values. You can see that there is an opening balance, and then there are contributions, meaning that we received contributions in January. We did not receive any contributions in February and March. We received contributions in April. We also did receive in May. We did not receive any contribution in June. Then we received contributions in July, August, and September. Now you can notice that from whatever you are seeing, this is a client who should be doing regular contributions, but the amounts are quite lumped up. So that is why we have the second page, where now in the second page, you can now see, I hope you can now see what I'm talking about. We received contributions here in June. These are contributions that were received, but now you can see this is when the contribution was received, but this contribution is an October 2020 contribution. We have another one that was received the same day. This is 6th of January 2021, 6th of January 2022, 21, 6th of January. We received 3 contributions for the same person. So you can see in the previous statement, they have been lumped together here as one. But now when you come here, they have been clearly stated as 3 separate contributions that are supposed to represent October, November, and December. So for members who are contributing through the employers, it is important that after you receive your statement, look at the first page and then immediately go to the second page, where now you will be able to see the month-to-month allocation. And with so much said, allow me to bring my brief presentation to an end. And those who have questions, you can type them in the chat box so that we can respond. Back to you, Jen.
Okay, thank you, Shem. Thank you very much for that presentation. Members, I think we are progressing well. I note that Joseph Madenge and Weru have their hands up. Maybe when we get to the area, please type your concern so that I can know that we need to address it immediately. But otherwise, we'll be able to come back to you and respond to your issues during the question and answer sessions. So continue typing your questions or clarifications as we progress on. However, before we switch to the next presenter, that was quite a lot of learning, and I'm sure Shem has also introduced some new terminologies. So I would wish to request the members also to type the very new terminology that you have heard for today that refers to, I mean, with respect to your statement. It is the first time that you have heard about that clarification or the terminology. It is good to let us know because learning is progressive. It takes place every day, every moment. Otherwise, thank you, Shem. I want to go to the next presenter who is going to take us through the CIC digital platform that we have available to make the members also be able to be, in tune or on real time connected with them, with their statements, with their information. So without further ado, I want to call Lucira Nyasenda to take us through the digital platform. Welcome, Lucira.
Thank you, Jane. Kindly confirm that I'm audible.
Yes, you are. So, Lucilla. Hi, Shem. Hello, CAC team. Are we communicating?
Yes, Jane, we are.
We can hear you, but we can't hear Lucilla.
So, Lucilla, Shem, please get through Lucilla through. We can't hear her.
Jane, can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, the machine had a technical hitch. So just give us a few minutes to share the document.
Okay. So in the meantime, Michael, are you able to check on the chat maybe what has come up?
Yes, Jane. I'm seeing some activity on the chat box. A few have been addressed already. We continue to address and give response to a number. I don't know whether we should address any at this point or we should wait at the tail end after Lucila's remarks. But at least these are things that we can be able to have a session, question responding session shortly after Lucila's.
Okay, thank you. Members, I can assure you there is someone who is also taking charge of the chat box to ensure that all the information that is coming in through will be addressed. So Lucilla, we are back to testing. Are you comfortable now to start?
Yes, Jane, we are okay.
Okay, go on.
So the presentation is visible from your end?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, members, and welcome to the webinar. And at this point, I will be taking you through the pension app and portal. These are the digital platforms that we have that will enable you to access your member statement. So first of all, I'll start with the pension application, and then afterwards I will share a link to the portal because the process in both platforms is the same. So the CIC Pensions app, it's available on the Google Play Store. So if you have an Android device right now and you are able to access the Play Store, we can go step by step as I take you through the presentation so that you actually participate in installing and maybe registering and logging into the app. So for the Android users, you can use the Play Store. For the other phones, the link to the portal is as shown below. So you can just type it on your browser and you'll be able to flow as I go through the presentation. So if you have opened the Play Store, you can search for CIC Pension. Once you have searched for CIC Pension, the display should be as shown on the screen to the left. So you will see the CIC Pensions app. It has that CIC group logo in red. So once you have come to that page, you should click on the CIC Pensions app to start the installing process. So this might take a few minutes. The installation process may take a few minutes depending on your network. But once the application has successfully installed, you should see that open button. So once it has installed successfully and you can see the open button, you click on the open button to launch the application. So once you have launched the application, this is the screen that you will see. And this screen introduces you to the CIC Insurance Group company. It will just give you a brief description of what we do and our presence in the continent, and also when we were listed at the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So this will just be a brief description of the company that provides this product. So the next three screens after this will provide brief descriptions of the retirement benefit products offered by the company. And this include the CIC annuity plan, the guaranteed fund, the CIC Jipange Plus personal retirement benefits plan. So the details of this product can be found in the app once one has registered and logged in successfully. So this is a continuation of the screens you will see once you click on the next. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, Lucida.
For those who are not able to see, just type in the chat section. There are people who are saying they can't see the presentation. That's why I was asking.
Okay. Someone is asking you zoom a bit. If you have room, you can still enlarge. If not, maybe just bear with us.
It's a full screen, so
Okay.
perhaps, yeah. Are there other people who can't see the presentation?
Yeah, we can see. Cecilia, please carry on.
Go on, Lucida.
Okay, thank you for confirming. For those who can see, thank you for confirming in the chat section. So these three screens are the additional ones you can see once you have launched the application. So we have the CAC annuity plan screen, the guaranteed fund screen, and the Jipange pension plan scheme. So if you can look at the bottom left of each screen, there's an option to skip. So if you're not interested in viewing any of that information, you can skip and go straight to the login page. So here we have the registration and the login screen. So you can see we have a login, we have a sign in, we have register, we have a forgot password, we have a useful links, and we have locators. So register is for members who are interacting with the app for the very first time. So if it is your first time installing the app, if it is your first time downloading the app, if it is your first time interacting with this application, then you will need to register in order to use the application. Once you have registered, the sign-in section is for members who have registered and received the password and have gone through the registration process successfully. So next, I'll take you through the registration process. So once you click on register, this is the screen that you will see. So it will ask for your member number, it will ask for your ID number, and it will ask for a referral code. Please note that you should be registering as an existing member. So you click on the existing member, ensure you can see existing member registration so that you can proceed with the registration process. So once you are here, you can indicate your member number, you indicate your ID number, and then you will skip the referral code. So you skip the referral code, and then you click on sign up. Once you click on sign up, you will receive a one-time password via SMS. So after you have confirmed that you've received the password via SMS, you go back to the login screen. There you'll be asked to indicate your ID number and the password that you have received. So once you've indicated those two, you click on login. And once you click on login, you will be prompted to change that password. So you will change the password to a password that you're comfortable with, something that you can remember and something that is unique. So after you change the password, you will indicate the new password and then log in to start interacting with the application. So these other items that are on the login screen, we have the forgot password. This one is used to reset a password. So for example, if you set a password and you have forgotten it, you can use this item to reset the password. The password will still be sent via SMS. Then you also have the useful link section. This will take you to the CIC Group website where you can find the other products offered by CIC Group. So we are an insurance company, so we also have general insurance, we have life insurance products, and we also have unit trust products. So when you click there, you'll be taken to the website and you'll be able to see the other products. And then also in the useful link section, we have copies of the member handbooks. This is very important. We have the member handbooks within the app and also within the portal. So these member handbooks, they will give you information and frequently asked questions about membership, about contributions, about investments and interest allocation, about how benefits are paid and how they are taxed. And also it will give you information about the post-retirement medical fund. So once you have logged in successfully, just go to the useful link and you'll see the member handbooks and you'll be able to get all that information. And finally, on this login screen, we have the locators button. It contains locations of the CIC branch network within the country. It contains the office location, the floor, the road. So you can be able to see the nearest CIC branch office when you use this functionality. So assuming you have downloaded the app successfully, you have opened the app, you have registered, received the one-time password, you have reset the password, and now you have logged into the app. This is what you should see. So the first picture shows you the homepage of the application. This is where I was telling you the other products are mentioned, and there's more information if you click on the read more button. And on the top left-hand side of the screen, we have the menu items, the menu items icon. So those three lines, when you click them, you will see the information that is on the second screen. That is my account, statement, trends, events, a pension calculator that will enable you to do projections, somewhere to invite someone to interact with the app. We have the help functionality through which you can send us any queries. We also have the locators and useful links items on this menu. So on the top right-hand side of the page, you have those three dots. Once you have finished interacting with the app, you can log out of the application. So for the purpose of this presentation, it was mainly to show you how to access the statement from the application and also from the portal. So going back to the home page, once you have clicked on the menu items, You will see my account and then you will see my statement. So that is our focus for today. So once you have clicked on the statement, you should see a calendar icon on the start date and the end date. So when you click on this calendar icon, you should select the start date and also the end date. Please note that you should indicate the dates per financial year. So for example, if you want a statement for 2019, the start date will be 1st of January 2019, and the end date will be 31st of December 2019. If you want a statement for 2017, your start date will be 1st of January 2017 to 31st of December 2017. And if you want a statement for 2020, the start date will be 1st of January 2020 to 31st of December 2020. Once you have selected the dates, you will click on the Get Statement button. A notification will pop up to show you the email address where the statement has been sent. So that email address that is displayed is the one that we have in the records in the system. So if you wish to change that email address, then you just get in touch with us so that you change the email address. So the next slide will show you how this member statement process will look like on the application. So here we have the statement icon. Once you click it, you will see the option for you to select the date. So when you click the calendar icon, you should select the start date and the end date, and then you click the Get Statement. So I will emphasize once more, do not select dates from different years. For example, do not put a start date as 1st of January 2019 and the end date as 31st December 2020, because you'll get an inaccurate statement. So that's the process of the statement. Once you have successfully installed the application, you can go through the other menu items to see what they have to offer. And next we'll go to the portal. The CAC pension portal can be accessed from any browser. So whether you have a Chrome or Mozilla, or whether you have the Opera in your phone, you should be able to access this link. If you have an Apple device, once you go to your browser, you can put this link on the browser and be able to access the portal. So once you have indicated that link, the landing page will be according to that diagram shown, and the process is just the same as the one for interacting with the application. So that will form the end of this presentation. And if you have any questions or any clarifications, you can put them in the chat section and we'll be able to respond after this. Thank you, and back to you, Jen.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucila. Members, I don't know, those who are able to show any gesture of how the presentation has been, maybe you can be able to express. We need to know whether we have been able to also take you into a space where you understand how you get your statements up to date. I wish to make one or two clarifications so that you also are not left in a situation of anxiety. One is that you appreciate Jipange. We have membership from the different maybe walks of life. We have employees, we have self-employed, business, or wherever it is. So the source of contributions is various. The idea behind us having a portal and an app is to just try and make sure that you can be able to see your statement real time and your data. However, in circumstances where we receive contributions through the employer or through the bank, you realize that there's normally a time lag, because there must be an intervention of movement of funds from the bank account or from the time we receive the payment from the employer to posting to the members' statement. So in the event that you find maybe it is not so up to date, please do not panic. Just remember that we are always continuously trying to update as soon as we receive your contributions. However, for those who pay by M-Pesa, we believe within 48 hours, your statement should be up to date. And of course, with the interest that is given at the guaranteed rate, the 5% that you are taken through by SHEM. So, and in the event that you feel the gap, maybe it's too long, please get in touch with us also again to clarify. And our team will always be available to clarify for you. And then Lucida has emphasized the importance of when you want to get your statement, stick within the financial year. I want to clarify to the members that Jipange plan, the financial year is January to December. So that is why Lucida has been insisting pick a date from 1st of January to that 1st of December of that particular year, so that you are able to have consistency in terms of your balances. So otherwise, thank you so much, Lucida. I think we are really trying to make sure that we are up to date, even with the current technology, which now has become very important as this COVID moment. And we have been by force taken now to the next level of adopting digital technology. I do not foresee a situation where we'll go behind in terms of the digital development. We can only move ahead in terms of embracing technology. So I note that Gideon and James Makumu, they have their hands up. Well, please, Gideon and James, type your concern so that we can see it on the chat box, so that we are able to progress on well. Yes, as we approach that session. So I think we are doing very well in terms of our plan and the timing. So we want to call the third presenter to present to us then the latest innovation and what has happened in the CAC Jipange plan. I am sure we have tried to make a communication to you introducing the CAC Jipange Plus pensional plan. Today is the date that you are also going to hear it, what has happened, what are the changes, but this is only a good innovation, and considering your retirement life and well-being by the enhancement that has taken place. So I do not want to preempt the presentation, and this presentation will be done by no other than our corporate trustee representative, because this a lot of work has been done by the trustee as required by the retirement benefit regulation. So welcome, representative from Kingsrad.
Okay, thank you very much, Jen, for letting us have this opportunity to talk to the members and give them more information in regards to the post-retirement medical funds. My name is Brian Mwangi. I'm from Kingsland Court. We are the corporate trustee to the CIC Jipange Plus Personal Retirement Benefit Scheme. Our topic for today will be the post-retirement medical fund. In short, we usually refer to it as the PRMF. In this session, we are going to introduce you to PRMF, tell you how it came to be. We're also going to tell you how you can join the PRMF and be a member of the same. Thirdly, we will give you information on how you can contribute towards this fund. And after retirement, how can you access and utilize the funds of the post-retirement medical fund? And lastly, I'm going to leave you with some important advice that I believe will be helpful to you as members. So, why PRMF? The industry usually conducts regular regular researches to the industry, and part of that research was they conducted and saw that members nowadays are living longer in retirement after retirement than they used to before. So if you retire at 50, nowadays you'll expect to live an additional, let's say, 25 to 30 years before you can, or in retirement rather, if I may say. So living longer in retirement means that you don't have a job. You are depending on your retirement benefits for you to survive or for you to live happily. And part of these expenses that you will face in the retirement with the retirement benefits is the medical expenses that come with it. And we all know that as the older we get, problems probably start arising, or mostly problem will start arising. Kidogo kidogo utaumwa na magoti hapa, kichwa kitakuuma, and you will need some to visit a physician to assist you in getting some medical care. So in the same research, it was noted that these members who are trying to enjoy their retirement, or who are trying to live their retirement happily, are using most of these funds or their retirement benefit funds for medical expenses. So you see, the large chunk is going to cater for your medical bills whenever you visit the hospital, as opposed to you living a happy life, traveling the world, seeing the world, going to Masai Mara, enjoying yourself and your family or your spouse. So you don't have time for that because the funds are being depleted by the medical expenses that you're seeking from the physician that you're visiting. And we also envisage that in this day and age, we have seen some various medical technological advances, which at some point you will see that you might think that when you retire, you are okay. But once you get to the physician for a checkup, due to the medical technological advances that you have, they will spot something, a little thing, kidogo tu, and then they will tell you that this one needs to be taken care of, and you need we need to keep up and to keep checking up on you so that at least we can monitor the progress with you. So that brings in another bill on the medical expenses. So what did the regulator come up with? As part of a way of dealing with this, the regulator decided to introduce the post-retirement medical fund. In this, the idea behind this was that you, as a member, would start contributing towards your retirement, towards your medical cover in retirement while you're still working, or while you're still energetic, and while you're still earning quite some good sizable income. So what has the scheme done after the introduction of this PRMF? The RBA, who are the regulator, were able to give out the regulations, and schemes in the industry were supposed to adopt these regulations and include into their trust deed and rules document a provision that will give members the ability to access or to have this facility within them, or within the scheme rather. So the trustees of the scheme went ahead and amended and enhanced the scheme trust deed and rules so that they could provide this to the members. But further to this, they also sat down with the sponsor of the scheme and asked themselves, is it prudent for us to just put this out there for the members through the trust deed and rules document without even considering giving them something additional or something that will benefit them more in terms of this regulation? So what happened was that they came up with an idea where they engaged into various partnerships with other medical insurers and came up with a very good product for you as members, and so that you can be able to access more just than having it in the regulations. You are able to get the full package in terms of the medical product for retirees. Part of this is what we are calling the CIC Seniors MediPlan. So with coming up with these amendments and also coming up with these engaged partnerships, we revamped the scheme from what used to be called the CIC, Jipange Personal Pension Plan, and we registered afresh with the regulator to rename the scheme as the CIC Jipange Plus Personal Retirement Benefit Scheme. The plus there is what brings in that aspect of now the engaged partnerships as well as the post-retirement medical fund within that scheme. So most of you might ask yourself, how do you become a member of the post-retirement medical fund? First of all, you have to be a member of the CIC Jipange Plus Personal Retirement Benefit Scheme for you to be a member of the PRMF. This is because the PRMF is a fund that is held within the CIC Jipange Plus Personal Retirement Benefit Scheme. But it's on the contributions towards this PRMF are on a voluntary basis. So you are not forced. It's not mandatory for you to contribute towards it. It's you as a member who comes to us and tells us that I want to start contributing towards my future medical cover through the PRMF that you hold as CIC Jipange Plus. And then we'll pick that up and we will enroll you to the PRMF. It's open to existing members. So if you're you're already in the scheme, you can join. You'll just have to contact the administrator and tell them that you want to be part of this product. New members can also join. And when new members come, we are telling you that you have to be a member of the CIC Jipange Plus. But it is not mandatory for you to contribute to the retirement benefit scheme so that you can start contributing to the PRMF. You can join the CIC Jipange Plus just for the sole purpose of you being a member of the PRMF. So you will just, for you to join this PRMF, you will just need to contact the administrator. There is a form that they will give to you. Once you fill this form, you just submit it to the administrator, and they are going to guide you accordingly on the way forward after being a member. In terms of contributions, once you become a member and you have filled in the form and you have done everything that the administrator needs for you to do, there is a special account that is opened for you. The funds in the PRMF are segregated from the normal retirement benefit scheme funds. This is because they are supposed to be held differently because of the various regulations that are there in terms of how they are supposed to be in the scheme. So once you start making contributions, these contributions will not be mixed up with your retirement benefits scheme contributions. They will be held on a separate statement. So if you go to the administrator, they can tell you that this is the match that you have saved as in the post-retirement medical fund, and this is the match that you have saved in the retirement benefit scheme. That is if you're contributing on both fronts. So in determining the amount to contribute towards this fund, you can consider having this as a percentage of the salary, where let's say you're employed, you go to the HR or the accountant who usually writes the checks to pay you, and you tell them that I've joined the CIC Jipange Plus post-retirement medical fund, and I would wish that 3 or 4% of my salary goes towards that fund so that I can be able to start saving for my medical cover in retirement. So that is how you put it as a percentage of the salary. The other option is that you can have a specific amount of money, which is probably you start contributing, say 5,000, and you stick it at 5,000 for every month. And I believe that's just self-explanatory. Yeah. In terms of other ways that you can bring funds into the PRMF, you can transfer part of your benefits. You might look at the statement, or you might look at the PRMF statement, say you have contributed for 3 months, 4 months, and you look at it and say, the funds that you are seeing in that statement are hazikufurahishi sana. So you might decide let me transfer some amount from my retirement benefit savings into the PRMF account so that they can boost that pot for my medical cover in retirement. You can also do the same, transfer funds either from another post-retirement medical fund. Probably you have opened another post-retirement medical fund account with another provider, and you might decide to transfer those funds from that provider to the CIC Jipange Plus PRMF. You might also have some, say you have opened an account with the CIC Jipange Plus just for the purposes of the PRMF. And probably the provider on the other side who is providing you with your retirement benefit scheme covers is not able to give you this product. So you might go to them and request them to transfer part of your retirement benefit savings to come into the CIC Jipange Plus so that it can form part of your PRMF savings. Lastly, some members might have an idea or a target of what they would wish to have, or the kind of cover they would wish to have in retirement. So you're saying that in retirement, I need a cover of this much for myself. And so I need to know how much should I be contributing right now or from now, so that at that point in time, I shall have hit my target in terms of what I require as a medical cover. Worry no more, because the very able team at CIC have got you. They are readily available to provide you with a quotation and to take you and guide you through how much you can save or how much you can contribute towards this. All you need to do is just contact them via either telephone or via email, and they will be able to assist you on this front. So you have already become a member of the PRMF. You have contributed your amounts, and some years down the line, you have gotten to your retirement age, and you now unataka kwenda kupumzika nyumbani. So how do you utilize the benefits in the PRMF? The first option, you can do this. You can use these benefits to pay annual medical cover premiums. What do I mean by this? By this, I mean that you have retired. You go out to other medical providers, or you come to CIC. I know they do have that product with them also. And you negotiate with them in terms of what kind of product or what kind of cover that you would require in your retirement age. Once you negotiate with them and you reach an agreement, and you decide this is the much I want to be covered for, they will give you the premiums that you're supposed to pay for that cover. So once you get those premiums, you will come back to the scheme, get to the fund, and request that the scheme utilizes the funds to cover those premiums or to cover those medical premiums. So that is one way in which you can utilize these benefits. The other way is you can leave the funds in the scheme, and these funds can be used to offset any medical expenses that you incur as a member. For now, if I may, there are some various technicalities that do come with this, and this is something that the trustees, together with the sponsor, we are working on to ensure that we get it right exactly, so that at least we don't get to disenfranchise the member. So it's something that we are working on. It's not yet something that has been finalized, and we will continue to give you information as it arises. On the other one, you can transfer the benefits to another post-retirement medical fund. So if you have the funds here, you can decide after retirement, this is what I want to do. I want just to pick my funds and take them to another post-retirement medical fund. The last point there, in terms of purchase of an annuity, that's more or so as the same as the first point, where the funds are used to buy a medical cover or to pay for premiums for a medical cover. So I won't belabor on that one. Just to notice that if you wish to access the funds before retirement, you can only, if you wish to utilize these funds before retirement, rather, not access, but utilize, you can only utilize this in the form of medical benefits. So the options are utilize them in the form of medical benefits, transfer the funds to another post-retirement medical fund, or you can defer these funds until you attain the age of retirement. Exceptions to this are just the same as the ones in the normal withdrawals. The exceptions are if probably you are incapacitated due to ill health, so you are not able to do anything, then you can be allowed to access these funds. In the unfortunate case of your demise also, these funds will be paid out to your beneficiaries. And if you are emigrating from Kenya without the intention of coming back, then these funds can be released to you as a member. Finally, on my important advice is on the nomination of a caregiver or a personal representative in the post-retirement medical fund. Who is a caregiver? A caregiver is a person who is allowed to administer the access of your post-retirement medical funds in case of either mental or physical incapacity. In case you are not able to administer these funds yourself, you are required to select or to appoint one person who the scheme will be dealing with in terms of you accessing or utilizing this facility or these post-retirement medical funds in the scheme. So we advise you, it's something that you are supposed to do annually. Every year, make sure you go, ask the administrator to give you a form, fill it, and name the person that you would want to administer the utilization of this. Circumstances might also change. Probably you had named one person and then you feel it's time for you to remove them and name another person due to one reason or the other. So you can also, it's not cast in stone that you will only do this on an annual basis. You can also do it in between the year and every time you feel that the circumstances have changed. Just to give you comfort is that the trustees will require evidence from a medical practitioner to show that either you are mentally or physically incapacitated. So the comfort here is that one, ule mtu umeweka kwa ile form will not come to us and tell us so and so is not okay, I need to get access to these benefits or to do this and this and that. Just because they feel like it to disenfranchise you for one reason or another. So we will require that evidence so that at least before we can trust them to administer the access of these funds, we will be sure that it's the correct position that we are holding. Yeah. Lastly, this is a confidential document. We will not share it with anyone. We will not share the information that you have given us in that document with anyone. We know we live in a world of many things. So probably if someone gets hold of that information, they can decide to do various things. So it's very confidential and it will only be used when the need for it arises. So nobody will be privy to that information unless we get to that point when it is very indeed needed. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you've learned a thing or two in terms of the PRMF, and we welcome questions in the chat section, and I'll hand it back to the regulator for now. Thank you. Jen?
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much for that very nice presentation. I think you have been so absorbed with the regulator that you are even imagining the regulator is already here. However, let me take over. So members, I believe you have learned a lot in the post-retirement medical fund. And I think it is one thing to enhance a scheme or to bring a feature in it. It is another to benefit by partaking the benefits that have been provided. In summary, what are we talking about? We are saying that our regulator, through research, he has formulated a policy and guided that we need to start thinking about our health care in retirement being the biggest cost that one incurs at retirement. And what is coming out very well from this, the regulator, is the truth of the matter is you could be having 30, 40 acres or whatever you have accumulated during your retirement. But I would want us to imagine a situation that you are sick and you are hospitalized. Would you be able to liquidate the land that you have and pay the medical bills? You know, we need to ask ourselves very serious and realistic questions. So this the post-retirement medical fund account is there to make sure that we also save in a liquid form or near liquid saving or investment for our health care in retirement, because that is a time that even whatever we will have invested, if we cannot be able to meet our medical expenses, will actually be diluted, because it can actually get us back into poverty, which we have been trying to fight against all along our able and working life. So this is a challenge to all of us. Can we start thinking positively about having that account, even if you are in the informal sector? And probably you can see that your work or whatever you do, the income you get can be able to sustain you. For medical expenses, please do not take chances. I am sure, however rich one is, a medical bill of $1 million overnight or within a week can actually disorganize someone irrespective of their financial status. So let us proceed and take positive action for that. So I wish now that we go to the next session, and this is the question and answer session. I'm sure a lot of activity has been taking place, and we'll just go through what has come up in the chat in form of questions, clarifications, whatever form it is, and try to give you feedback. And for this session, I want to give it over to Michael to officiate or coordinate the process. So Michael, you can hear me? Hi, Michael. Fine. Kevin Aricha. Kevin.
Yes, Jen.
Be on standby to because I think communication is not coming through with Michael.
Okay.
To manage the issues.
There is.
Okay.
It's just unmuted back. Mike, are you with us?
Yes, Kevin, I'm with you. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. So, Michael, we want you to take to deal with the issues that have been posted on the chat, please. I'm sure most of them have been addressed, but I think it's important we just go through to reassure the members. Over to you, Michael.
Yes, Jen, indeed. So what I'm going to do, I know quite a number have already been addressed, but I'll just take a brush through on the questions so that in the event that there are those that still remain unaddressed, that you can be able to verbally have response on. I will start with let me see, there are quite a number. I hope we'll be able to go through them all. Yeah. Let me start where let me start where we had the question about the 20,000 limit. So Simon asked, so less than 20,000 is tax exempt and more than 20,000 is not tax exempt. How about 20,000 exact? And I think Lucilla mentioned that 20,000 is categorized as tax exempt. So that means that if you are at exactly 20,000, then you are exactly at the tax exempt amount. So that any amount that comes beyond 20,000 is non-tax exempt and will be due for taxation, due for corporation tax, but not taxation at the point that you exit. So the next question from Naomi: how often are statements sent? I think I attempted to address that, and the response for that was that we usually send out annual statements to the members, and these annual statements doesn't mean that that is the final statement. In the event that members require statement, we are always open for requests on email, and I think those that have attempted to request for their email, they always get immediate feedback. But now we have the online platform, we have the member portal, and we also have the mobile application, which the members can be able to actively make use of, so that then a statement will be accessible to you at any time of the day, any time of the month, at any time of the year. The next question from Elizabeth: what's the taxation rate point? What's the taxation rate point of withdrawal? That is the case where the contributions were tax exempt. I'm trying to understand that. Maybe Lucilla, you can prepare for that, to address that. What's the taxation rate? I think this was supposed to read, what is the taxation rate at the point of withdrawal? That is in the case where the contributions were tax exempt. So Lucilla, you can prepare on that. The next question from Anne: how often are statements shared? I think I've already addressed that. The next question from Winfred: NJPP 04. And then the question is, oops, sorry, I only received policy document and not the statement. Kindly send us up. I think, Paul, you have taken note of that. We shall be able to share that. Then we have the next question from Peter: when employer does say 9,500, okay, I think that means when the employer contributes, say 9,500, and the employee does 21,500, bringing the total to 31,500. I think that should be 30,000, not 31. It should be 31 flat, sorry, 31,500. How do you allocate the non-tax exempt portion between employer and employee? Shem, you can prepare to address that. The next question from Alphonse: I was initially employed by a private firm, which was submitting my pension contributions, and I later moved to public service. Do you have a check-off system where I can commit some contributions towards my pension plan? Shem, you can also prepare to address that. Okay, that question about where it says, I was initially by a private firm which was getting my contributions and moved to public service. Do you have a check-off system where I can commit some contributions towards my pension? Next question, Mary, please share the link for other phone options. I think that has already been shared. Then we have Winfred. Hi, I am Winfred Obati from West Pokot. I joined the group when I was working at Mission of Hope International. I stopped working in that institution in 2014 August. Since then, I have never contributed. Are there repercussions? Shem, you can prepare to address that as well, okay? Next question. Hi, it can't open on my end, brings a blank screen. I think that was addressed. It was about the presentation that wasn't visible. Then we go next to the next question. Oluoch, I worked with a company which registered my pension with CFC. That is CFC, not CIC. CFC. Then I don't know what happened. Then CFC returned to CIC. My problem is that my contributions under CFC is not appearing in my statement. So Shem, you can prepare to also address that. I think this needs a bit of reconciliation, and perhaps if you need a few more details, you can also request the member to provide. Then Another question by Anthony. Kindly share the link, the portal link that has already been shared as well. The next question by can you start contributing after stopping for a long time? Are there extra charges? Maybe I can just address that. Is that there are no extra charges? Should you stop contributing? I think at the point that you regain financial comfort, you can always continue contributing from where you started. And there are no penalties for gaps in contributions. Only problem would be if these gaps are caused by the lack of remittance by the employer, having deducted contributions from a member's remuneration. So, Wilfred, if you stop contributing today, you can always start contributing after you regain financial comfort, whenever that happens. The next question, Pauline, what of iOS phones, none able to see the app? I think that was a concern by iOS users, and I think Lucille had attempted to address that iOS users, the ones that are not able to download from Google, can always use the web link to access the online portal as opposed to the mobile application. Next question, Bernard, how do I get the member number? Bernard, the member number is in your statement. So you need to have access to your member statement. If you don't have that, you can always write an email to life.pensions@cic.co.ke and shall be able to respond with your statement immediately. These are a few responses by the team members. There's another question by Joseph. Do employer contributions subject to tax in the event a person attains retirement age and wishes to withdraw the funds? Lucilla, you can prepare to address that. Do employer contributions subject to tax in the event a person attains retirement age and wishes to withdraw the funds? Moving on, the next question from Hannah. We can't make payments through the app. Good job. It's very user-friendly and up to date. I think that has been addressed by Lucilla, that currently the app is not, doesn't have the ability to make contributions, but you always have the alternatives, which the team has really shared. Then the next question, please help me get my member number. I've already mentioned that will be within your statement. If you can't have access to your statement, please write an email to live.pensions.co.ke and we shall be able to respond immediately. The next concern was from Mary. Please allow us to take the website details from the PPT last page. Okay. A few responses from the team members. Then the next question, Anthony. I used to get statements on a yearly basis, but now I'm not getting. My email is as listed. I think, Paul, you have taken note of that. Just pick that up. Then we have Mary. What is the M-Pesa number for submission of contributions? I've seen that responded to. The pay bill number is 600-113. 600-113. Then we have another concern from Purity, procurement for voluntary deposit. Oh, procedure for voluntary deposits. I might have missed the M-Pesa number. So again, for voluntary deposits, you can, if you wish to use the M-Pesa to make contributions via M-Pesa, you can only use the pay bill number 600-113. 600-113. Then we have Brian. Can a member log in the app? Can a member log in to the app, confirm if funds have been transferred into the account successfully? The answer to that is yes. You can always access the app at any given time and you can always be able, but again, because of the time lag, sometimes we have some delays between the interface, within the interface between the M-Pesa and our system. Sometimes it will not immediately reflect on your statement. Should you experience that, you can always give it some allowance, say about 24 hours, and check whether that has already been reflected. Then we have Pauline. Is the notification now sent by CIC M-Bima when we pay by M-Pesa? I think that is a concern on notifications, and the answer to that is yes. As soon as you make an M-Pesa payment, then you're able to get a response instantaneously at the moment that you make those contributions. Japheth, if there is no consistency on deposits for someone who is not employed, is there any repercussions? If yes, what's your advice? Again, as I said,
on an individual basis, you don't really have any penalties that will accrue to you at the point that you suspend contributions. But if these gaps in contributions are as a result of the employer not submitting contributions on behalf of the members, which they have already deducted from their remunerations, then there is a problem, there is a penalty, and the law actually prohibits that, and the consequences to the organization as well, as far as penalties and interest penalties and also penalties to the organization is concerned. Purity, what is the name of the app on the App Store? I think that had already been shared, but the name is CIC Pensions. Just look up and search for CIC Pensions. That is on the Google Google Play Store. Okay, not on iOS. It's on Google Play Store. Search for CIC Pensions. Then we have Pato. Can we use ID numbers instead? It's not quite clear what ID numbers, where you need to use the ID numbers instead refers to, but I would assume that is on the mobile application. And for the answer to that is that you need to have your member number as well as the ID number when you're logging in. So either way, you'll still need the ID numbers as well. Then Steve has a question. The mobile application doesn't open on some phone like mine. Maybe we shall need to have a few, maybe some more details on that, so that we can be able to see what could be happening. Maybe it's just some issue of how the installation took place, and we can be able to assist on that, Steve. So reach us out on life.pensions, or even make a call, and someone will be able to get back to you, even take you through how to download it and install it on your mobile device. Then we have Pauline. What if I made payments to the wrong pay bill number? And I think there was a response to that, where what you need to do is that just share with us, send the erroneous pay bill number that you may have used. So long as it's one of the pay bill numbers that CIC has, just share it with CIC, share it with the team at live.pensions. Excuse me. Share it with the team at live.pensions, and we shall be able to do some reconciliations internally and see how we can be able to assist. Otherwise, if the pay bill number is outside CIC's pay bill numbers, then perhaps you may need assistance from Safaricom instead of from Safaricom instead. I hope that is well addressed. Then we have James. my quiz. I think this means my question. I'm volunteer contributor to JP. How will member receive their benefits? Is it taxable? I'm trying to reconstruct this, James, to maybe to put it in the perspective that is understandable. So the question is, I am a volunteer contributor to Jipange. How will a member receive their benefits, and is it taxable? So Lucilla, you can be able to address that as well as part of the responses that you give. Jeremiah, well done, CIC Jipange team. The app works smoothly and delivers a great experience. Keep it up. Thank you. Then Joseph, my question goes to Shem. Should the totals of the two sections of the statements tally? That is the top one that shows when the monies are received by yourselves, and the bottom one that shows month-on-month contributions. Shem, you can be able to address that, but I saw you type in the response. Maybe you can attempt to also get back verbally if that was not well understood. Then we have Pauline. Dear Pauline, we confirm receipt of the M-Pesa transaction. Officially is that. Thank you for saving with CIC pension plan. We keep our word. Please confirm, as I've never received this before. This is a concern to Pauline. Perhaps Pauline can take up this concern so that we have specific interaction with your special concern, so that we see what could have happened. Paul, you should have taken that up. Next, we have Alice. How do I get my refund as I'm now retired? I think that is also a description of how to go about claiming for benefits. Lucilla, you can be able to take that up, or even Jackie. Jackie can be able to take that up and describe how a member can be able to go about applying for claim for benefits payment. I can even see that Lucilla had already given a description that the best would be to send an email to live.pensions.co.ke, so that then you can be able to get a description and guidance on how to go about applying for the benefits. Then we have we have the next question, James. James wanted to have the presentation sent to him after the meeting, and we shall be able to do that. Lucilla had already mentioned that all these presentations will be shared to all members after the webinar. Then we have Shem had attempted to respond. Lucilla responded. As we go down, then we have another concern by Sami. What happens to Bima Credo? Then Jen, you can be able to take that up. Then we have William. Thanks for this. I hope I'm now well enlightened about the change of name from CIC Jipange to CIC Jipange Plus. That is good, William. That is good feedback. Thank you very much. Then we have Jafet. How long will the medical cover last? Let's say I contribute monthly for 10 years prior to my retirement. Jane, you can be able to take that up. And then we have Morioki. Bima Credo was abruptly withdrawn Okay, I think it was withdrawn. Bima Credo was abruptly withdrawn without notice to those who had signed up. Any insights into that issue and what happened to the amounts that had been contributed? Jane, you can also be able to combine that. Then we have Mike. Does the medical fund earn interests? Maybe the trustees will also be able to take that up. Does the medical fund earn interests? Then you have Joyce. One, can one do a standing order for post-retirement medical fund? And two, can one extend their cover period? For example, if you had put your retirement age at 50 and you want to extend that, so the trustees can also be able to address that. Then we have the next, Albert. Do you have any indicative information, in brackets study, on what an average retiree spends in medical, outpatient stroke inpatient, that is in bracket, per year during retirement? Such information could assist in choosing an appropriate cover. I think that Jane, you can be able to, together with the trustees, can be able to respond to that. Then we have Brian. Do the funds in the post-retirement medical fund accrue interest? I think that has already been allocated to someone to address. Then we have please send me the post-retirement medical fund. That is Joyce. I think that we shall take up. We shall be able to take up immediately. Joyce, I hope we can be able to get your contact details, maybe perhaps your phone number or email address, that we can be able to get insight of of how to be able to reach you. Then we have Albert. Thanks for the caregiver angle there. Thanks for the caregiver angle. Are there plans to have corporate caregivers, in brackets, registered and professionally bound, close brackets, especially where relatives are not an option? Jane, you can be able to take that up. That is the question is, thanks for the caregiver angle. Are there plans to have corporate caregivers, open bracket, registered and professionally bound, close brackets, especially where relatives are not an option? That's a very good concern from Albert there. Next, we have Oliver. Will the presentations be shared? We already said that we shall be able to share this presentation to all members soon after we finish up the webinar. Lucy, good idea of the medical part after retirement. It's one crucial thing. Thank you for the feedback, Lucy. Then we have Brian. I missed the last presentation. Kindly clarify the difference in Jipange and Jipange Plus. Thank you. I think the trustees will be able to reiterate on how the difference comes in. Shem had attempted to make some clarification on text. Then we have another concern from Joseph. How can I read the total dividend and say in the year 2020 from the statements? Shem, you can be able to respond that how can I read the total dividend and say in the year 2020 from the statement? Next, we have Judy. Apart from leaving the country, is there any other way that I can access the funds before retirement age? Lucilla, you can be able to address that. That is, apart from leaving the country, is there any other way that I can access the funds before retirement age? Then we have the next concern from Felix. I have 4 employees with medical allowances of 15,000 each, 15,000 per year. Can they get a medical insurance cover deal? That is, I have 4 employees with medical allowance of 15,000 per year, can they get a medical insurance cover deal? That is, Jane, you can be able to take that up. Then we have Zakayo. When I transferred my fund from Zama, I think that Zama Railway, yes. When I transferred my fund from Zama Railway, I think that was from Zamara and the railway. Your scheme, am I eligible for monthly fund and at what minimum rate? Let me read that again. When I transferred my fund from Zama Railway, your scheme, am I, okay, I believe that should have been into your scheme. Am I eligible for a monthly fund and at what minimum rate? Lucilla, you can be able to take that up. Just try and break that down. Then we have Anthony. Kindly send us the link for the CIC portal that has already been done. Lucilla had already mentioned about some response. Then we have Simon. I joined CIC Jipange 8 years ago. Last year, I was assisted by Nakuru CIC office to download the CIC app, but it has never opened to enable me get a statement. Why? To get a statement. Why is that so? Logging is always impossible. Maybe perhaps Simon can be able to take this app. To start with, what you can try and do is uninstall the old application that you had already installed last year and download another application afresh and see whether that problem persists. Please also write an email to live.pension so that we can be able to take a one-on-one session with you. The next one is from Brian. Is there a legal provision that I can use to compel a pension administrator to delay in transferring funds? Who delays in transferring funds from, for example, an ex-employer scheme to Jipange scheme? I think the concern here is that is there a legal provision that I can be able to compel a service provider who delays in transferring funds from the previous organization to the current or to CIC? The trustees can be able to take that up. Trustees, just take that question up. Then we have Ruth. Ruth, is the official email life.pensions@cic.co.ke. I have been writing with no feedback. We are really sorry about that, Ruth. We shall be able to see. Just attempt to send an email immediately so that then we can be sure that the email comes to us. If it doesn't come to us, then there will be a problem on your end. But just attempt to write an email again, and we shall be able to pick up on feedback. I'm really we really apologize for that lack of feedback, and we shall need to see what could have caused that lack of feedback immediately. The next question is from Johannes. The update of contributions in member accounts for employers who pay via EFT should always be done promptly. There is improvement on your end, but it can still be better. Thank you for that feedback, Johannes. I think we have taken that up. It's something that we have continuously endeavored to improve on. And it's also good that you have even mentioned that, or rather you have even noted that there has been improvement. And for sure, yeah, we shall be able to monitor that and shall be able to improve even better as we move forward. We have Brian. On average, how long does it take to transfer funds of a company from one insurance to another? That is from Brian. On average, how long does it take to transfer funds of a company from one insurance, from one insurer to another? The trustees can take that up, but ultimately there is the legal provision, but there is also the legal practice. I mean, the industry practice. Which may, of course, be way less than what the legal provision is, but also it depends from company to company, but the trustees can be able to also give perspective of that. We have Simon. Is it possible for a member to get a soft loan from Jipange and pay back towards retirement plans, like for building a house, purchase kettle, etc.? Trustees can be able to take that up. Next question from Wango. Is it possible to get the full points of the meetings on our email to go over them slowly? Yes, it is possible. You have already mentioned that we shall be sharing that. Benjamin, I got in late for the talk. Kindly share the presentation to your email. We shall. Then we have Joyce, who has also given us an email address. Then Joyce, who wants us to send the email, who wants us to send the PRMF form. Thanks for that, Joyce. We shall be able to take that up. Yes, and that is the final concern. Jen, back to you, and all the other panelists who are supposed to respond. Just Back to you, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. I can hear you are already even panting because of how the members have engaged with queries, clarifications, and this we are very, very grateful. And this is really a good representation of even your active presence in the session. So you members, you appreciate that there are so many points of engagement that have come through. And we are also checking in terms of how long we had scheduled to deal with this. And Michael has allocated the questions, some of the questions to the members to deal with. And because all this will also be captured or we'll be able to get this printout of the session, we are going to also get to the members individually on the questions that they have raised. However, I have just picked a few questions that are related to the post-retirement medical fund, because we appreciate that this is a new innovation. It is very, very important that we start preparing for having to meet our medical bills in retirement. So I'll pick just a few that are related to that, not meaning that we have not given the same value to the others. We will still respond to the other questions later on after the webinar. So there's Albert Wambogo. Albert, thank you for your very tough questions. I can read that you are really engaged into interrogating the post-retirement medical fund provision. So you are asking whether there are medical bills, the expenditure data that can be used to inform people how much it is. Albert, let me maybe share with you that CIC has even taken a very bold step to try and have a product where there's no data in this market about the expenses, medical expenses for the retirees or the older persons. So for now, we will not be able to give you precise. However, what we need to just guide is that we have tried to just estimate or project what the cost would be on each of the plans that we have. So with the direct contact, we can work with you in terms of targeting the kind of cover you want. Is it a 5 million? Is it 3 million? And then at your current age, we just assist you to project how much you need to have put across for a fund that can last you for the next 20 or 25 years after retirement. And I believe that is within some good period of the general longevity statistics. So that is where we are. We are able to engage you much more to get you into that space. And I also want to tell all of us that, again, aging is so individual that we have different experiences in terms of even our health it matters during that time of retirement that cannot be used like a standard for every other person. However, we are ready to engage. Albert, I also appreciate your new thought about corporate caregivers because you appreciate that the family may not be able to come in at that point. Of course, for many reasons, we need not explain them. This is just a start. It is a start even in our entire country. What I can tell you, we will be able to get there. When we now start engaging and these needs are coming in through, it is possible to also work with the government to be able to, build capacity and also register corporate caregivers. But that is the way to go. But please, let's not wait for the corporate caregivers to come before we have started saving. Let's start saving and we wait for the systems to be put in place. Then Japheth also has asked a question of how much it would cost or a medical cover would last if making a contribution of 10K. Japheth will also get to you individually and try to take you through the journey so that you can understand how far that can go. Joyce, standing order for post-retirement, Joyce will get back to you and guide you on how to go next. And we are excited of the interest. There's also a request that can 4 employees be given medical cover. Again, we'll engage more to be able to guide on what is appropriate, what form of cover. Is it a cover for now or is it a cover for the future? So all that information will be needed to give guidance. So I will not allow my colleagues who have taken the questions to respond in this forum, but individually, I confirm that they are going to get back to you and respond to your questions so that we can also try to operate within the timeline. And I can also see the audience is dropping out as we progress, of course, because of time. So thank you very much once again. I now would like to give the opportunity to the Trust Secretary to give a vote of thanks. And while he's giving a vote of thanks, I request you please to help us know the kind of the next training that you would want to hear from us. Please type the topic you would like to hear from us. Do not worry, even if your friend has also typed the same. Remember, the more frequent the topic appears, the more informed that we get to know that that is a very, very important topic to deal with and to be able to reach out to the majority. Please do us that favor so that we can plan for the next member education. We are planning to be doing this on a quarterly basis. So you can imagine within a span of 1 year how enlightened we'll be in terms of this space of retirement planning. So help us build this program of the training. And then as Kevin gives the vote of thanks, I hope I'll also be able to get one of the members who happened to have been among the first people to enroll for the webinar or to join the webinar today to also lead us with the closing prayers. And that is no other than Albert Wabogo. So I will try to also ensure that he's able to pray for us. So over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Jane, as our very able moderator and for organizing this session, which I must say has seemingly been very successful based on the number of members, the kind of questions we receive, the feedback we are getting about the content, and so on and so forth. See, we truly appreciate that. Second is to also appreciate the members and hope that you and your families are safe and continue to be safe. We must say, being in the industry as trustee of other schemes, CSC Jipange, we have been quite lucky in that we have not been directly affected with our membership in terms of the COVID pandemic and the fatalities, but we don't take that for granted. We appreciate God and thank Him for that. But that being said, I know most of us, if not all, have been affected indirectly or otherwise, and condolences from us as trustee and also as a scheme. And probably a learning point from the pandemic, as we know, it is here to stay, at least for a very foreseeable future. But we've learned a few things. One is that we need technology. As you can see, the last time we met was 2 or 3 years ago, but we have had to adopt to be able to meet, to engage you as members, to get to understand your needs, talk about the scheme and so on and so forth. And also, it has necessitated us to move even much faster in terms of how do we engage our members on the online platform and how do they access their information on their records. So with the online platform, we ask members to kindly ensure that they continue to register, continue to utilize, get in there, verify your records, ensure that everything is in order. In the event of any challenges, pick it up with the team so that every reconciliation is done. At the end of the day, we go on vizuri sana, everybody satisfied knowing that their records are clean, their finances are correct, their biodata is correct, tuendelee kusave towards retirement. Second lesson is that our saving culture for Kenya and also for the world, it was brought to question so much at that point. We received a number of questions from members, oh, can I access part of my retirement benefits during these challenging times and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, the regulations did not allow for such an access, but it called to question our form of culture in terms of saving. We kindly ask that we go back, if we haven't yet done so, sit back, think how else can we improve on our saving culture so that in the event of any other pandemic, let alone the COVID pandemic. Where will it get me? Flat-footed, or will I have something set aside for a rainy day? On that as well, please, where possible, save more in the retirement scheme. Save more in the scheme. We've come a long way. For those people who were with us, I had someone has been with us for the last 8 years or so, and some even longer. We have people at 11 years and above. You know, we have come a long way as a scheme, and we are headed in the right direction, headed in the long run to the best place that we can be. So save more for your retirement where possible. That extra 1,000, just channel it back to the scheme, and at the end of the day, it comes out to be the best for you. Insurance cover has also been a light bulb for us. We need to consider, where possible again, to have insurance covers. As we heard from Tyrus, there are a lot of other products that CIC has, and we can consider and have it at the back of our mind. What else can we do in terms of our cover, both insurance-wise and also retirement benefit-based? And finally, estate planning. It became clear that death is inevitable and very sudden. So let's put our house in order, up to and including retirement benefit savings, nominating your beneficiaries, having the right information with the scheme, so that in the unlikely event, in the sad event of any member's demise, things run a little smoother than we've normally seen in the last period. Just a few highlights is that you can continue contributing even if you're no longer a part of an employer. The scheme is an individual-based scheme, but principally it is for individual members, although we have employers who are within it. So where you left employment, you can rejoin as an individual member. No penalties are chargeable in the scheme. No additional costs are chargeable in the scheme except administrative expenses. So you can continue saving towards your retirement. Why CIC Jipange Plus? That was a question that was asked. CIC Jipange was the scheme that we had, whereby you'd save for retirement, and at retirement you get your benefits. After some time, we decided to make a little change progressively to develop an option for members to save for their medical cover within the scheme. And that is the additional concept that we said, why don't we call it now CIC Jipange Plus? So you can save for your retirement and also save for your medical cover. There is a certainty in we need to know in life, is that God willing, we will all grow old, and medical cover should become a priority. We have tried as much as we can as a scheme to have this in place for you to contribute during your active membership. You can start at 19, at 20, at 35, at 50, and so on and so forth, so that at the end of the day, you get a bigger pot out of which you can cater for your medical expenses. We are also working as a scheme to continue improving on partnerships so that we can get more partners on board and give members more and more options, so that at that time of retirement, you're able to enjoy options as much as you can. But finally, is to thank you for your continued confidence in the scheme. Thank you for contributing into the scheme even during the challenging times of the pandemic. We do not take this for granted. We do not at all take this for granted. We intend to make these webinars, as Jane has mentioned, to be a quarterly engagement. So we'd love to have your feedback on what more you'd like to hear from us, so that we can give you education for your benefit. Retirement benefits information is a wholesome engagement that can take weeks and weeks to complete. So if you get an idea of what you want to hear, itatusaidia sana to tailor make something that is in respect of you. So go out there, preach the gospel of saving for retirement benefits, preach the gospel of CIC Jipange Plus now, and bring on board as many as you can, so that we can walk this journey pamoja. Otherwise, thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate your time taken, and asanteni sana. Back to you, Jen.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, for also wrapping up the whole session. So now we will request one, at least the proposal for the training. I have seen them coming through. Please make sure you don't leave before you also put in your proposal. the area that you want to be enlightened on. So we now invite Albert Wambugo to lead us with the closing prayer. And you can also maybe represent the members in terms of giving feedback on how the training has been, and then pray for us. Try to unmute yourself from your end, Albert, please. Hi, Albert. Albert. Wow, it's unfortunate. I think I can't hear him. Okay, so what we are going to do, nevertheless, I think we are going to ask one of us, that is Jacqueline Nyambura, to lead us with the closing prayers.
Hi, members. We thank you once again for joining us today, and let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity that you've granted us to be together today. We thank you for being with us since the beginning of this meeting till now. We sincerely pray that our members have left empowered by this session, and it has been of benefit to each and every one of them. Thank you for our facilitators who have been with us today. We pray that you continue blessing them. As we depart, we pray that you be with each and every one of us and bless us in everything that we do. We pray this believing and trusting in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. So members, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can leave at your pressure, but make sure you give us the topics to cover next time. And we meet you in the AGM coming next month.
You know,